Lazy Burrow here, and I am Bakersfield's bargain toy hunter. I go to swap meets, yard sales, thrift stores, all over the place in and around Bakersfield, California. I look for cheap, mostly vintage, but superhero toys, all that stuff, and bring them out of obscurity and display them at my antique mall spot, the Lazy Burrow Collectible Exchange. Located in downtown Toys and Comics on 19th and L Street in downtown Bakersfield, California. All right, let's see what we got this week. This little mini haul comes from the Kern County Swap Meet. This is Sunday, November 10th. Rick and Morty, as you can see, I got a Rick and Morty graphic novel there. Now, that did not come from today's haul. That is something I had, but I just have it up there in background because today is season premiere of season 4 of Rick and Morty. That's an exciting event for Rick and Morty fans. Let's get to the toys. All right, first of all, we got this cool little Chris Paul, NBA guard Chris Paul. This is from his days with the Clippers. He was a star with the Clippers in kind of the early 2010s. And he was also a State Farm spokesperson. Had an abundance of State Farm commercials, that ad campaign, where he had a twin brother that he was like separated at birth from, and the twin brother was like the star of insurance agents. So there it is. Chris had bobblehead doll. It's pretty cool. Little Clippers logo down there. And Chris Paul was supposed to be like the big deal right about the time that Steph Curry kind of came up and stole the national spotlight and started winning championships in the West Coast. So Chris Paul, oh man, he hasn't had the impact that he used to have. Let's just say that. All right. And here's one of the cooler things that I got. This is a 10-inch Venom, Eddie Brock Venom from, this is from Toy Biz Marvel from the early mid-90s. Probably came from the, Marvel had these 10-inch figures in like every character. All the X-Men line, all of the characters from the, I think the Iron Man line had it. The Fantastic Four animated series, the Spider-Man animated series, obviously. These were staples in 90s superhero toys, was this 10-inch scale that were just bigger versions of the kind of 5-inch figures that Toy Biz had been selling all through the early 90s that were so popular. So this is a cool one. Eddie Brock Venom. Venom toys are just hot. Venom toys, Venom comics, it's not just because of the movie. Venom is just one of those characters that's been hot since he debuted in the late 80s. And even with a weird run of storytelling in the late 90s, early 2000s, this character is still one of the most enduring. So, hey, he's cool, man. He wears black, and he's just a twisted, buff version of Spider-Man. What's not to like about him? Venom. Happy about that one. All right, now, this little, here, let's get into this. This is a Walt Disney magazine from 1958. 1958, and there is Zorro, the superhero that, in some tales of Batman's origin, Zorro is the movie that Batman was seeing in the theater the night his parents died. Kind of the last movie he saw with his parents, and, in a lot of mythos, it's kind of like Zorro, the legend of Zorro, is what kind of inspired Bruce Wayne to become Batman. So, I like Zorro. Zorro's been around for a really long time, as far as mythology goes. I think, Zorro is kind of like Robin Hood. Like, no one entity owns him. You know what I mean? He's public domain now. Anyone can write kind of a Zorro story, which is really cool. In one sense, in another sense, his destiny is not controlled by any company who really has a financial stake in it. And so we don't get a lot of consistent, like, Zorro storytelling, as opposed to superhero stuff. But But you could go out and write a Zorro story yourself, and I don't think you're going to get sued because Zorro is public domain. Kind of like Robin Hood. All right, cool. That's a magazine from 1958. And there you go. You could, there's the little mail order thing for $1, $1.35 each. You could get a Zorro hat, a Mickey hat, a Donald hat. Look at all that. And a Mouseketeer hat. So yeah, 1958, Walt Disney magazine. Cool little magazine there. All right, now these little toys right here, this was my 4 for $1 section. So I was digging through a pile. Once again, it's mostly Happy Meal toys when you come across that. But 4 for $1, I got this kind of the kids line of Hulk. Anytime you find Hulk figures. Here is a here's like a Cabbage Patch miniature, like a holiday color guard Cabbage Patch miniature. It looks like pretty cool looking. 1994, you know, something to pad my dollar bins. This guy right here, I just found this kind of cool looking crossbow. Looks like it's to the scale of like a 6-inch figure. Kind of a beefed up video game looking crossbow. Don't know what character it goes to, but anytime you find kind of a cool weapon for accessories, might as well pick that up. Here's the find that made that whole quarter bin or that 4 for $1 thing worth it. This right here is a knockoff Transformer toy. It comes from 1984 from a toy company called Select in Japan, and based on the popularity of Transformers, GoBots, you know, transforming robots, this has been popular in Japan since before it was popular in America. But even then, it was, you know, the early 80s was really a time for this sort of thing. Well, this Select toy company in 1984, they make this line called the Convertors. And the Convertors was a little bit cheaper. If Transformers was the Convertors are like the C student of robot toys, is what I like to say. But this is a pretty rare version of a converter. This is, you know, it says roulette machine here. The Converters, man, they had a few. They had one that was a slot machine. You know, they have a roulette machine here. There's, you know, kind of more adult themed stuff, I want to say. Like, Hasbro is not going to put out a Transformers toy here in 2019 based on gambling, you know, machines. It's just not going to happen in 2019. So this is really kind of a throwback. And let's go ahead and see what he does. Let's pull his legs out. This is not going to be the most complicated transform of all time. Arms pop out a little bit. The only problem is he is missing a hand here. He is missing his left hand there. He does have the right hand, but the left hand is missing. Head pops up, and there's his beady little eyes. I love it. This was an awesome robot toy. There was another version of this. His name is Vegas, by the way. This is the name of this toy is Vegas, of this particular robot. Vegas from the Converters, and it's of the new Spies, you know, sub-line from Converters. And they made another version of this toy that was red, and he didn't have this plastic dome here that kept the ball in. So the red versions, nobody has that little ball that's clanking around in there because, you know, the toy wasn't built with kind of with that in mind. So this is kind of the more rare version, man. I dig it. I dig it a lot. I love it. He's just a cute little robot toy. Old school 80s converter. Man, it's a good find. Good find. I posted it in a vintage toy group on Facebook earlier today when I found it. A lot of people were just, they hit a nostalgia wave when you post converter stuff. Because, you know, if your mama didn't, if your mama didn't want to spend Transformers money and she didn't want to spend GoBot money, this is what you got. This is the robot toy that you got when you, when maybe you weren't the best kid in the world. If you're an average kid, average behaved, this is kind of all your mom would spring for. But hey, in 2019, this is really, really cool. Awesome, awesome find. All right, that was it, man. I didn't spend a whole ton of money. just bought a couple of things. I was really stoked. You know, the 10-inch Venom is cool. I'm a huge Venom action figure collector. I do have that particular figure, though, so I'll be able to be selling that this weekend at Bakersfield Comic Con. That's right, Bakersfield Comic Con is this weekend at the Kern County Fairgrounds. This Saturday and Sunday, 2-day convention. Lazy-Borough Collectible Exchange will be there. We will be selling a lot of the stuff that you've seen on my videos the last few weeks will be out for sale at this convention. I love selling live person-to-person at conventions rather than online. I hate shipping. I hate going to the post office, all that stuff. Buying shipping supplies, you know, constantly having to have that stocked. No thanks. I like the personal, you know, personal connection, selling, seeing, hearing about other collectors, what drives their fandom, what they like to collect, what hits that nostalgia bug. That's fun for me at conventions, so. Alright guys, Lazy-Borough, this was Sunday's little swap meet finds. Tonight is Rick and Morty's season premiere, season 4, so I will be all over that tonight. And I'm actually going to have another video up. This is from the stuff I found. I found a little lot of toys at the yard sales yesterday. And I'm going to go ahead and shoot that video now and post that today also. So, you know, if you like watching toy hunting videos, toy haul videos, hey, the Lazy-Borough YouTube channel, this is the place to be. We do it from Bakersfield, California. And we come at you multiple times a week, as often as I can go out toy shopping. Alright guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.